Darth, Theorist, rise. What if Commander Cody and the 212th resisted Order 66? Let's explore the depths of it in the video.
All units advance. Keep moving. Watch those wrist rockets.
He shouts for the men to rush to the nearby enemy position as blaster fire rains down in front of them. Droid turrets and spider droids take up defensive formations and rain attacks on them. Cody dives behind some rubble and fires his blaster, yet he feels the droids returning fire and whistling past him. Cursing, an explosion rips through the guard, and he orders heavy weapons. A squad of clones bearing rocket launchers fires upon the buildings. Through his microbinoculars, he watches them make contact and detonate the entire building, sending them erupting in flames. However, as he advances, more droids fire through the ruins. A scout reports there are more dug in than expected, and their defenses run deep.
Rockets won't flush them out. They might have more defenses running underground. If it's the case, we need to cave the entire tunnel system. Those tunnels are also part of the local shelters. We do that, and we may turn them against it. Get the electrophoton bomb here. We'll flush them out.
Soon enough, a Y-Wing's engines roar overhead as a small squadron braves the contested airspace and approaches Cody's position. Atop the lead ship is an EMP bomb mounted on its belly. It recalls the reports of how this weapon was first deployed on Malastare a few years back. This had created a sinkhole that awoken a Zillo beast hidden from the planet's surface, but since then the weapon has been tested and modified. This bomb is much smaller and will only clear a few city streets, but it should be enough. He pulls his soldiers back and watches as the bombs drop. A massive electromagnetic field explodes outward, engulfing the droid defensive facility and spreads outward. It moves through the clones' lines, setting their walkers collapsing and their communication equipment failing. Still, as the first troopers head inside, they report that the droids are gone. Cody leaves Boyle to handle the cleanup as he heads back to the command center. Little does he know that this is also targeting something deep within him and his men. The inhibitor chips within their skulls are temporarily shorted out. Thankfully, the command center is far enough back from the bomb site that communications are still in effect, and there he learns that Grievous is gone. Obi-Wan returns a few minutes later to confirm this. Now all that matters is wiping out the surviving droid forces. Sparks of electricity shoot through his head as the inhibitor chip tries to activate itself. The clone winces and smacks the side of his helmet as a surge of pain follows. His head jerks forward as Cody grimaces. Two voices war in his head. One coming from his inhibitor chip, urging him to fulfill the command, and another from his mind, telling him that something is going on. Palpatine sees it and frowns.
Commander, is something the matter?
No, my lord. It shall be done.
He directs a tank crew forward as the lead walker takes aim and fires. The explosion does not hit Obi-Wan directly, but strikes at the ground beneath him. It gives way and leaves him tumbling over the edge of the cliff, his Boga following after. The fall must have been more than 100 feet. There is no way the Jedi can survive a fall like that, but he still deploys search crews to find the body. When the commander turns back to the Chancellor, he offers an apology for his hesitation. Only then is Palpatine satisfied and cuts the feed. But once he is gone, Cody looks over the edge and silently prays the Jedi is okay. He sends underwater probes and divers from amongst the local Pauan population to begin searching for Obi-Wan. Though they are given descriptions and their best equipment to aid them, the scouts come back empty and say there is no sign of them. They do not even find bodies. However, one of the scouts soon reports that he detected tracks from the pool leading away from it. They are too small to be one of the Pauans and are likely Obi-Wan's. That means he survived and is trying to get off-world. Cody stares at the tracks, but feels his vision going double as an ache begins in his head. He feels it throbbing as the inhibitor chip begins to reactivate yet again, through the effects of the EMP. This hard restart is sending jolts of electricity through his body and leaves him grimacing. The pain is almost unbearable as he doubles over. Around him, the other men are feeling the pressure as well, and it takes all their willpower to stand up again. There is still the Jedi out there, and he needs to find him. Whether he intends to bring him into custody or not is another question, but that can wait until they have him. In the meantime, Cody begins to narrow down the possible places where Obi-Wan can escape. All Republic ships are out of the question, as even if he can reach them, they can be tracked. There may be some civilian ships, but the landing pads are being closely monitored by both the clones and local forces. That leaves only CIS ships, and Cody already has an idea of what might happen. He called for a transport and a squad of clones to follow them. They head to Grievous's last known position, and just as he predicted, Obi-Wan sneaks into the ship where he hopes to take off. But before he can board, the gunship flashes its searchlights and Cody leaps down, blasters raised. Although his head is swimming, he manages to take aim at him.
That's far enough, General.
Cody, what is the meaning of this?
His lightsaber flashes, but he senses something in the clone. Confusion, uncertainty, conflict. Still, he doesn't lower his guard, as they form a semicircle around him and look ready to fire.
I could ask you the same thing, General. We were just told that the Jedi committed treason against the Republic. What do you know about that matter, General?
What? Treason? That's insane, Commander. You know me. I would never do that. Nor would any of the Jedi. There must be some mistake.
If that is the case, then you should come with us. Let me clear this up.
And then, Obi-Wan falls over as pain explodes across his mind. When he reaches out into the Force, he feels it screaming out in pain. It is the sound of hundreds, no, thousands of voices crying out as if they are executed. Not just any voices, but those he knew. Friends, fellow Jedi, all snuffed out. When he looks at Cody, tears are stinging his eyes. One of the clones moves forward and prepares to fire. However, Cody waves him off and shakes his head.
If I go with you, I won't be coming back. Whoever made this lie will ensure it.
Then I'm sorry, General.
His men all take aim, but as they are about to squeeze the trigger, Obi-Wan's hand flies forward and sends the clones flying back, knocking most out. Cody manages to roll and fires, but Obi-Wan parries these bolts. He starts to get to his feet, but Obi-Wan rushes forward. The clone swings his blaster and aims at him, and strikes the Jedi across the face. It intends to knock him out and incapacitate him, but he remains standing. When Cody swings again, Obi-Wan is ready, and his lightsaber lashes out and slashes the weapon apart. He follows up by driving his knee into the clone, sending him doubling over. One final blow knocks the commander out cold. Obi-Wan stands up, staggering, and prepares to leave, but then he looks at his old friend. Cody did not seem to like these orders. He didn't even seem to believe in them. He saw the pain in his eyes and sensed the conflict. Whatever happened, Cody did not want to do this, and that is enough for Obi-Wan. He glances one more time at the ship, his ticket to safety, but then shakes his head. Instead, he turns back to his friend and hauls him over his shoulder. Obi-Wan contacts R4 and tells him to take control of Grievous's ship to distract the clones while he gets out of there. He hurries from the landing pad before more clones show up. Cody is still slung over his shoulder. As he moves, he raises his communicator for another call and contacts Tion Midon.
Administrator, there has been an emergency. I require your assistance.
Master Kenobi. So glad to hear from you. There is chaos in the lower levels. Something is happening to your troopers. They seem to have changed. They are not quite as friendly as they used to be.
Indeed. I noticed this as well. I intend to get to the bottom of it, but I require a medical facility. One away from prying eyes.
Does that include from your own men?
Yes.
There is one outside the sinkhole some distance away. It is far enough behind enemy lines that you will not be noticed. I can arrange for a supply ship to make a run there to gather medical supplies.
Thank you, Administrator. I am in your debt.
The rest of his trip is spent dodging clone patrols and firefights that break out with droid holdouts. Thankfully, these make for an excellent distraction that keeps the clones' attention away from him. It is a tense journey, and more than once, Obi-Wan has to use the Force to knock out Cody once he begins to stir. Finally, he boards the ship, which disappears into the clouds, and he leaves the sinkhole behind, and he heads to a nearby grotto, hidden to the naked eye and distant enough that the patrols will not spot them. There, the healers take Cody and lay him on the medical table. Obi-Wan places a hand on his friend, trying to find the source of his turmoil. He receives a surge of static in response. A wall slowly emerges, blocking his attempts to probe into his mind. It isn't the mental barriers he is used to by strong-willed individuals, but something else. Something artificial. He says as much to the medic there, who begins to scan the commander's brain, and soon reports his findings. A chip in the clone's brain. Obi-Wan's eyes narrow at this mention, and then a memory begins to resurface in the recesses of his mind. He recalls how Shakti had reported that the clones had inhibitor chips. It was swept aside with everything else happening in the war, but Obi-Wan begins to realize how important this might actually be. He closes his eyes and orders it to be removed. While he keeps Cody from waking up, the medic works to begin removing the chip from his head, and once it is gone, Obi-Wan studies the information. His eyes widen as he bypasses the security codes and watches the information begin to flow before him. There are hidden command codes, things he doubts even the Senate hears about, things that would have broken countless laws in the Republic, and things that drip of Sith influence. The worst of these is a command to execute all Jedi. The room goes very still as Obi-Wan stares at this command, Order 66. And then he hears stirring behind him as Commander Cody begins to wake up. Turning around, he finds the clone rubbing the side of his head, where the new scar is.
What's going on? Commander, do you feel any urge to kill me? General, why would I? Oh no. The orders. General Kenobi, listen to me. You're in grave danger. And I know, Commander Cody. I know everything. Now you must answer me. What is going on, and who gave you those commands? It was the Chancellor.
That news does not entirely surprise Obi-Wan. They had long suspected his loyalty, but still, just how deep this conspiracy goes leaves him breathless. He looks over at his friend and listens as Cody recounts everything. After they confirmed General Grievous was dead, Palpatine ordered him to execute Order 66. When he hears this, the Jedi realizes this was executed across the galaxy, hence why he sensed so many Jedi dying. The other thing that took him off guard was the hesitation in Cody. From what he understands, these chips should take control of the clones, yet he hesitates. It was long enough for Obi-Wan to save him. The medic studies the chip again and reports some electronic damage they suffered, perhaps as a result of the EMP from the bombs. When the clone hears this, his face pales.
The rest of the men with me, Boyle, Ghost Company, all of them are close by. That means they can be saved too. Indeed, although we must figure out a way to do that. And more importantly, we must deal with the Chancellor. I fear that the rest of the Jedi Order was not so lucky. What if we were to lure them out? There's still some pockets of droid resistance. I can call in another airstrike. That might short out the chips. In the meantime, you'd best lie low. This is a bold move, Commander. Many will see your actions as treason, and not just you, but also all of your men. General, I swore to serve the Republic, but if what you're saying is true, then the Republic I know won't exist. And if the Chancellor is trying to convince me that you're somehow a traitor, then he isn't worth following.
With that, the pair comes into effect as they begin to prepare for the next step. They agree it is too dangerous to expose Obi-Wan openly, so instead, he will remain in this medical facility while Cody handles the next plan. Palpatine soon contacts him, demanding a report of the situation, and the clone presents Obi-Wan's lightsaber as proof of his demise. This seems to be enough to satisfy the Chancellor, who nods and thanks him for his loyalty. He explains how the Jedi were traitors and attempted to overthrow the Republic. Cody just barely manages to hold back the bile in his throat when he hears this, and simply salutes. Hidden within one of the lower caverns, Obi-Wan Kenobi adjusts the transmitter scavenged from an abandoned separatist outpost. The soft hum of the machines fill the chamber as he encodes the signal manually, bypassing Republic frequencies. For a moment, there is only static, then a flicker of light. A hologram shimmers to life, and Master Yoda appears, his features drawn and weary.
Obi-Wan, alive you are.
I could say the same, Master. I feared I was the only one left.
Few of us remain. Ahsoka Tano, alive she is. Sense her presence, I do.
The mention of Ahsoka brings a smile to Obi-Wan's face.
Then there is still hope. But the Republic has fallen, Master. The Chancellor, he's behind it all.
Known to me, it is. A new empire rises. Return to the Jedi Temple, I will. See what become of it, I must.
No, at least not yet. I believe I have something that can turn the tide back in our favor. Head to Utapau.
Obi-Wan hesitates, glancing toward the tunnel where the clone patrols move through the shadows.
A dangerous place Utapau is. Yet, if hope lies there, go I must.
The hologram fades, leaving Obi-Wan alone in the hum of the cavern. Meanwhile, the upper command spire. Cody stands over a workbench littered with tools and datapads. The casings of the electro-proton bomb sits before him, its core half exposed. Sweat beads along his temple as he rewires the emitter array, feeding new commands into the energy dispersal grid. Cody exhales slowly, his hands trembling slightly. He stares at the weapon for a long moment before setting it down beside him. Then he contacts Boyle.
Get the men ready. We're clearing the droid outpost by the eastern sinkhole.
Later that night, the blast rolls through the canyons to get rid of the remaining droids. His clones surround the base of this fortification, intent on keeping the droids from escaping. But they are also close enough to the blast radius. There is a surge of blinding white light that floods through the sinkholes. It ripples outward in waves of static, frying circuits and scrambling comms. But beneath the electromagnetic storm, something else happens. Across the plains, clones stagger and fall to their knees, clutching their helmets as the chips within their skulls sputter and die. The faint control of the inhibitor network collapses in a cascade of static. Local POW and Utai laborers rush out from their dwellings, helping the disoriented troopers back to the caverns. Medics begin scanning them, extracting the remaining chips with crude but effective tools. By dawn, more than 100 clones of the 212th are free. Cody moves among them, guiding, reassuring the rest of the Legion that they are simply the after effects of the bomb and they should be okay. But slowly he begins growing the rebellion and tells them the truth. In the coming days, more and more patrols are ambushed and brought down, their chips removed and informed of the truth. Cody personally leads the men to these places. Meanwhile, Powans assist them, acting as guides to lead troopers to ambushes, while Obi-Wan makes appearances that force the clones to chase after him and isolate them. Once enough clones are freed, they simply move on to the fleet and capture the crew, where they have their chips removed. The operation is done under intense secrecy to ensure the clones cannot report any of this. Shortly after, a transport cuts through the mist above the sinkhole. Engines howl as it descends, and the ramp lowers, revealing Master Yoda leaning on his cane. Cody and his men drop to one knee instinctively, but Yoda gestures for them to rise. His eyes sweep the cavern, rows of clones, wounded, confused, but alive.
A hard path ahead, there is, but begun your redemption has.
With the 212th under their control, they now have a strong military presence and are not in any immediate danger of being arrested. Utapau remains distant enough that the Emperor cannot strike at them, but they also lack the strength to challenge the Empire directly, so instead they begin to reveal the throat. Republic banners are torn down and replaced with makeshift projectors and signal dishes scavenged from separatist wrecks. The freed clones of the 212th work alongside Pauan engineers, welding antenna towers into place. For the first time, they are building not a weapon, but a voice. Inside the cavern command post, Obi-Wan adjusts the transmitter's frequency, while Yoda watches. They secretly contact other Jedi to join them. Ahsoka says she will join them along with a handful of others. But as they trickle in, they begin to broadcast a holographic feed that transmits all the way to Coruscant. In the capital, senators pause and gasp. Citizens look up curiously, and others wonder what is going on. To their surprise, Obi-Wan's face flashes on the camera and explains what's going on. He gestures to racks of inhibitor chips removed from the clones and holds one up.
These were placed in every clone soldier's brain. Hidden commands. Orders we never gave. The Emperor ordered them to murder those they considered a threat. In this case, it was the Jedi. But who is to say that is all the Emperor wishes to remove?
Returned, the Sith have. From within your Senate, they rule.
The broadcast sends ripples through every world still loyal to the Republic. The information they've gathered about the chips is made public, shown to these people who all watch in disbelief. Many people immediately demand answers, and others withdraw quietly, unsure whether to support the new empire. The Senate scrambles for any information blackout, but the message is already copied, shared, and retransmitted across thousands of channels. On Coruscant, Chancellor Palpatine watches the transmission fade from the Senate rotunda. His calm facade cracks for a moment. Rage flashes behind his yellow eyes.
My lord, they're calling it evidence. Entire sectors are questioning the transition to Empire.
Let them question. The Jedi are liars and traitors. People need only my word.
He continues to insist these are all fabrications, pointing out that these Jedi exiles refuse to appear in Coruscant and present their evidence, and takes that as proof of their doubt. He knows they are too distant to deal with, but he must consolidate power first before he can confront them. In her Coruscant apartment, Padme Amidala watches the broadcast with trembling hands. Her heart swells with both relief and dread. Obi-Wan is alive, but so is the lie that he has consumed Anakin. That night, she uses an encrypted Naboo channel to reach Utapau. Cody patches her through.
Obi-Wan. Yoda. Anakin is leaving for Mustafar. Palpatine sent him to finish off the Separatists. He's not the same, but he's not lost either. Not entirely. Please, let him know the truth.
On Mustafar, lava rivers twist beneath industrial bridges as Anakin looks around. He finishes cutting down the few guards in this station to reach the CIS Council. With them gone, the last threat of the Separatists will vanish, and the Empire can finally rise, unopposed. Taking a deep breath, he steels himself to finish the job, but as he approaches, a familiar voice disrupts his concentration.
Anakin!
Obi-Wan and Yoda step from the shuttle ramp, their robes whipping in the wind. Several clones stand behind, gripping their blasters, but none of them fire. Not yet.
You shouldn't have come here. You shouldn't have left Utapau.
Nor should you have. Palpatine sent you to destroy the last of his enemies. But what happens when you've done that, Anakin? Who will be next? You think it ends here? There will always be other enemies.
See the chains you wear, can you not? Freedom promised, but a slave you remain.
He gave me purpose. The Jedi never did. He gave me trust and power.
To prove his point, he springs forward, lightsaber flashing. Both Jedi leap aside and pull out their own weapons. They strike from either side, forcing Anakin to block and intercept their strikes. He splints and whirls to meet their blows. He strikes. His anger and rage begin to bleed out. The other two sense it as well, the rage rattling their arms each time their lightsabers connect. Anakin swings toward Obi-Wan, not a warning shot, but aimed to decapitate him. He barely manages to avoid it and looks at Anakin in surprise. However, he doesn't have a chance to rest as his former apprentice continues to press him. This leaves him on the defensive as he must intercept these strikes. It actually begins to push him back, but Yoda is there and leaps from behind, his lightsaber stabbing at him, forcing Anakin to break off these attacks. The small Jedi rains down attacks, but each blow is met with the discipline and precision that leaves his defenses nearly impenetrable. It keeps Anakin back just long enough for Obi-Wan to catch his breath, and the two to strike at once. Their coordination is impeccable, but Anakin's rage makes him unpredictable. Finally, Yoda sends him sprawling backward across the platform. As he rises, Cody appears, blaster aimed as the clones surround him.
General, please. We don't want to do this, but we will if we have to.
You're all traitors. How can you turn against the Chancellor?
You act as if we wanted to do this, but it was either this or servitude.
How could you say that? We fought together for years. We bled together. And now you're choosing to betray all that.
We followed orders once too. They put chips in our heads, turned us into slaves with numbers instead of names. Sound familiar, General Skywalker? What other orders would they have had us commit?
Anakin freezes. Anger fades just for a heartbeat. His eyes flicker from Cody to Obi-Wan, then to Yoda.
Anakin, think. You've been used the same way we all have. The Republic was never his to give.
Memories surge. Kamino, the war, the Jedi Council, Padme's dying. All of that was Palpatine's influence. For the first time, he sees that as the cage that was built around him, all packaged as power and freedom. The fury drains from him as realization dawns. His saber trembles and extinguishes.
He lied to me.
Lied to all of us. He did.
Anakin, there is still time to stop the wheel from turning. Confess everything.
Hours later, on Coruscant, Palpatine's voice blares across emergency channels. The holofeed shows him, face shadowed, yet calm. It is there that he appears alongside Obi-Wan, Yoda, and the others. Anakin takes a deep breath and begins to reveal everything. He talks about the corruption he's witnessed, the promises Palpatine made him, and what he had done to hold on to power. His word changes everything. Anakin is a respected Jedi, and one of the Republic's greatest heroes. He'd always put them ahead of everything, and his word carries weight. The transmission spreads through the holonet faster than his sensors can stop it. The entire galaxy watches as the mask of Emperor Sidious cracks. The Senate now questions whether it can truly support the Empire, with all these questionable actions. Padme and Bail take the opportunity to begin challenging his rule and urge the Senate to depose him. Knowing his power is broken, Palpatine vanishes into the shadows of the Outer Rim. In the caverns of Utapau, the newly freed clones raise the old Republic insignia. Cody removes his helmet as the Jedi decide to begin rebuilding. Though they are few, they think it is their chance to take the Jedi Order back to its roots. Even Anakin is welcome back and helps hunt down Palpatine. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.